open dang. You realize that your breasts are just empty and it's like hata, but then eventually they fill up again and then he gets milk to drink after a few hours. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Winging It with AC. My name is AC. So today we are talking about breastfeeding. Now this is going to be one of several breastfeeding videos that I am going to share on this channel. Now I realized that through my breastfeeding journey, I had become an advocate for breastfeeding. So I've realized that I've come to develop a passion, if I should put it that way, to help others in their breastfeeding journey. So maybe, just maybe, I may train to become a lactation consultant, maybe. And I hope that my videos won't be all over the place. So I'm going to try as much as possible to streamline the videos so that each video makes sense and it's not repetitive, if I should put it that way. So today, we are talking about breastfeeding and how breastfeeding works, how the supply of breast milk in your body works. So let's get started. Now, I'm sure many of you know what breastfeeding is. When you give birth, you are expecting that you're going to just put your baby to the breast and voila, milk comes flowing out. But it doesn't always happen that way. So you hear a lot of moms talking about the fact that their milk didn't come in till day 3 after birth or day 2 after birth. Sometimes when I look back at my own experience, I honestly can't pinpoint when mine started flowing. Now the funny thing is, so I gave birth on Saturday night. So Sunday afternoon, so throughout Sunday, when the baby cries, I'll just take him and put him to my breast. I didn't know whether or not he was getting any milk. He would just suck and fall asleep. So sometimes the nurses would come in and ask me, is the milk coming? Is he getting anything to eat? And I literally would always just look at them and say, I don't know. But then they'll look closely and see that, okay, he's sucking, so perhaps he's getting something. Nobody actually took their time to check, and I didn't know how to check, as weird as that sounds. So later in the afternoon, a friend passed by and he was arguing with the nurses because his wife had just delivered a few days before me, saying that sometimes it's like the nurses are against formula. So the baby has come, mother's breast milk is not coming in, and then the nurses are already advocating, are not advocating for formula. You know. So I was sitting there breastfeeding the baby when he went to argue with the nurses in the labor ward. So one of the midwives came, and then she literally just she washed her hands, took my breast out of my baby's mouth, and then she squeezed close to the nipple, and then some milk came out. It's like, hey, come and see, this is milk. She's having milk and the baby's getting the milk, so the baby's not hungry. It was only this year, I kid you not, like this boy was probably already 1 when I thought about that experience, and I was like, wait, at that point it did not feel weird that my male friend, basically my husband's friend, came and then this nurse is just showing him my breast and my nipple and all that breast milk. Like sometimes when you're giving birth, your mind is just not there. But anyways, so that's how we got to know that, okay, this human being is getting milk to drink. Now, breast milk works on a supply and demand principle. So the more milk you remove from your body, the more milk your body will produce. So your brain will signal your body, I guess, or the body signals the brain, whichever way it goes, to produce more milk because, hey, the breast milk is not enough, or we need this amount of breast milk for the baby. So you realize that along the breastfeeding journey, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, your body adjusts to the amount of milk that your baby needs per feed. So I noticed that it happens to me. So by the time maybe like he's 3-4 months, if he's drinking perhaps 4 ounces per sitting or 6 ounces per sitting, I'll realize that when I sit down to pump, that is how much I would pump, maybe a little more, maybe an ounce more over that or something. But relatively, my body was actually able to keep up with his breast milk demands, or like how much he needed in a sitting. Now, how do you remove milk from your body? Basically feed your child. So especially in the very early stages, the first few days when you're trying to get your milk to come in, right after birth, as much as you can, start trying to breastfeed. Just put the baby at the breast and let the baby suckle. And that is also equal to feed on demand. So when you feed on demand, it basically means that you don't have a schedule for when you're feeding your baby. Like you decided that I'm going to feed you every 2 hours, so I'm going to feed you every 2.5 hours. Anytime you realize that baby needs to eat, or you don't wait till baby gets very hungry, you just pay attention to their cues, and then you just put baby at the breast. And you realize that there are times where they seem to want to breastfeed more and at close intervals. It usually means that they are going through a growth spurt. So breastfeeding on demand, it kind of ensures that your breasts are never like full, if I should put it that way. It's like your breasts are empty. There are times that I felt that way, like Sam could be at my breast for like, I don't know, like 45 minutes to an hour. Open dang. You realize that your breasts are just empty and it's like hata. But then eventually they fill up again and then he gets milk to drink after a few hours and whatnot. So you need to remove more milk so that your body produces more milk. Now, one advice I have is buy your breast pump before you give birth and learn how to use the breast pump before you give birth. So do your research on what breast pump you want to buy. There are so many videos on that on YouTube, which brand of breast pump you want to buy. Get it, read the manual, sterilize everything that is supposed to be sterilized, and practice using them, the different suction levels and all of that. I'll do a video on that separately, but the different suction levels, how long to pump for, so that you get the hang of it before you give birth. It's not like now that you've given birth, before you are going to buy the pump and try and figure out how to pump. So you already come from the labor room, you already know how to pump, so that if your breast milk is not coming in, another advice is to pump. So maybe while your baby is sleeping, in the early stages, in the very first 2-3 weeks, they sleep a lot because they still have their womb behavior in them. So they sleep a lot, they sleep long periods. And the advice is that even though they say sleep when baby sleeps, which is also another thing on its own altogether, don't go long periods without pumping or removing milk. So maybe you've just given birth and your baby has been sleeping for like 3-4 hours. Don't go past, especially in the early stages, I'll say don't go past 2 hours without expressing. So maybe after 2 hours, the last time you fed baby was 8 o'clock. As at 10 o'clock, baby is still sleeping, or as at 10:30, baby is still sleeping. Take your breast pump and start pumping. You will be exhausted. You're already exhausted from the birthing process and everything, but it's also necessary if you really want to breastfeed, to get the colostrum coming as early as possible. So you pump, and even if nothing is coming, still continue pumping. So maybe if you have a double breast pump for maybe 15 minutes. Maybe after 2 minutes you're not seeing anything. Even after the 15 minutes you're not seeing anything. Don't give up. Just put it aside. If baby wakes up, put baby to the breast. After you put the baby down, try and pump. Do it let the intervals be like 2 hours, because on an average newborns feed every 2 hours. So once you put baby down to sleep, maybe you've breastfed the baby, you've put him down to sleep, you drink some water, maybe eat something just to replenish your body, and then maybe in 30 minutes time you try and pump again. These are all ways to get your milk flowing as quickly as possible when you've just given birth. Now, another thing you need to remember is that yes, breast pumps are lifesavers, okay, and they have been made to mimic the sucking of a baby, but nothing removes milk as best as your baby herself suckling at your breast. Like, that's just nature, okay? So the machine can only do so much, but the best remover of breast milk from your breast is your baby. So try as much as possible to put your baby to the breast more often than pumping. So yes, pumping removes milk, and if later on for some reason your baby decides that I don't want the breast, some babies just decide I don't want the breast, so some mothers become exclusive pumpers. That's the term, exclusive pumping or exclusive pumpers. So it's like you just pump every 2 to 3 hours and then you feed it to the baby because the baby's refusing the breast or doesn't have a good latch or whatnot. That's a different thing altogether if you become an exclusive pumper. If your baby is not latching properly or is not sucking well, it can affect the removal of milk from your body and then thereby the production of milk from your body. Now you also need to remember this: you have planned to breastfeed, you have given birth, but as the weeks go by, your body is, and you've done everything you possibly can, and your body is not keeping up with your baby's needs and it's not producing that much milk, but I think that it's rather reducing, or it's just not a lot of milk, it's not enough for your baby. It is fine, because as hard as some people try, things in their bodies just work against them. Sometimes it's PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. It can also cause it can cause your body not to produce as much breast milk, hormonal imbalances, thyroid issues. If you find that for some weeks your breast milk supply, it rather seems to be dipping instead of increasing as your baby's appetite increases, don't beat yourself up about it. It's not uncommon that mothers who go through this feel guilty that they weren't able to breastfeed their child, but just remember that it's not your fault. Okay, so sometimes it just happens, and some women rather have the opposite, where they have an oversupply of breast milk, and those who don't have that much breast milk feel like that is a good problem to have. But if you haven't been through the struggle that oversupplying mothers have gone through, it's easy to say that, but I've read blogs on that where women who also have an oversupply, it's a headache for them. This is basically how breast milk production works: supply and demand. So the more milk you remove from your body, the more you have your baby feed on both breasts. Sometimes after feeding the baby, you put the baby down, wait for 30 minutes, and then use the pump, your breast pump for like 15-20 minutes to remove whatever milk is also there. That creates like an extra demand that your body would adhere to, and then create more milk for your little human. Now, if you realize that you have to supplement with formula, like I said earlier, don't feel bad. Formula was created for things as this. If formula wasn't created, then some babies would just go hungry and die. So don't beat yourself up too much about it, and don't be so stuck and averse to formula. So all you need to do is just talk with your pediatrician, especially if your baby's weight is not increasing at the rate that it should, and your baby's rather losing weight. You definitely should talk to your pediatrician, and then they would recommend, based on the baby's needs, would recommend the right formula to buy. It was only recently that I discovered that you actually have to talk to your pediatrician to find out which formula to buy, because there's so many formulas out there, and because your baby is should I say fragile, it's a newborn, you don't want to just go and be doing trial and error. Yes, some babies take best to want this milk over that milk, but there are technicalities to it, so it's always just best to speak with a doctor and get the full information that you need before choosing whatever formula it is that you want to feed your baby. Now, get all the support that you can. Breastfeeding is tough. I'll share my experience, my journey in my next breastfeeding video, but it is tough, especially in the beginning. So get all the support you can. So if you can be in a situation where you don't have to do any house chores, and all you have to do is breastfeed baby, sleep, breastfeed baby, sleep, bath, eat, breastfeed baby, rest, please try to do that. Okay, so if you have your husband around, if you have a sister or a friend who can help during the day, try and get as much help as you can, because breastfeeding is not easy, especially in the early days. It's tough. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of willpower to get up, even though you are so tired, to breastfeed your baby. And my tip for this video is drink a lot of water while you are breastfeeding, after you have breastfed, because I mean, breast milk is water. So drink a lot of water to keep your body hydrated, and also to assist your body to produce more milk. So guys, this is the end of my video. So like I said in the beginning, I'm going to be bringing you so many more videos on breastfeeding. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me hear from you in the comments. And I just want to say that I appreciate all the support and love I got from my previous video, my rant about weight loss. Thank you so much. And if I should say, it's good to know that I'm not alone in this struggle. There are so many people who message me that they really identify with what I spoke about. So let's keep encouraging ourselves. Let's keep motivating ourselves to be confident in who we are, in how we look. It's a slow process, it's a journey, but you definitely get there. Don't look down on yourself, just smile. I was about to say take a picture. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you do subscribe. Please share this video with any new moms that you know, any moms who are currently breastfeeding. Knowledge is power, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.